everyone, Rachel Akers here, and today I wanted to bring to you a tutorial about how to wrap a kind of an irregular shaped stone. And what I mean by that is, as you can see, my beautiful box of gemstones here. Absolutely love my gemstones. You can buy what we call tumblestones, and they are all completely random shapes. This is a moss agate, completely random shape. We've got beautiful piece of amethyst here, which is banded amethyst, so it's got these lovely white lines in it. And with these pieces, they're completely irregular. They are just random tumblestones, and they are really, really pretty. And I love working with these because you can be really random. You can be completely let loose with what you want to do. You don't have to follow any particular lines because all you're trying to do is make something into a pendant that is wearable. So what I do is I get a really long length of wire, and I basically do all sorts of different patterns on this one big long length of wire, and then I wrap it around the stone, and I finish it with a lovely little pattern at the top so that it can be hung. And the reason I love doing this is you can be completely free with it. You don't have to be conforming to perfect shapes. So you can get another type of stone, and it's called a cabochon, I think. I like to call it a cab because it's just a lot easier. So this is a piece of amethyst, and the thing with a cab is that it's been processed to make it a perfect shape. So this is a beautiful oval, and it has a flat back and a curved front. And when you design things with this, I mean, it would make a beautiful bracelet, it would make a lovely pendant, but you need to be a bit more specific with this. So the reason I wanted to bring you the irregular stone one is that you can just be free with it. You can just play around and practice, and I think as a beginner, that's a really good idea. I'm just going to put these away a minute. I go a bit crazy with my stones, so this box is very full of all sorts of different pieces. You can get some really rough stones that haven't really been tumbled as well. This one I love is a piece of amethyst, completely rough and beautiful, but imagine that as a pendant, look amazing. So what I'm going to do today is I've decided to pick quite a large stone. This is a rough piece of turquoise, so it's not even been kind of tumbled enough to make it that shiny, but it's a beautiful piece. And it's a nice big piece, and the reason why I've chosen this is because I think that it will be much easier for you to see when I actually wrap it. So I want to show you a couple that I've already wrapped to give you an idea of what we're going to do. I'm going to use some silver wire today, and as you can see with this piece, all I've done is I've got a long strip, and I've done some really pretty patterns on it with my wire wrapping techniques, and then I've just wrapped it all the way around the stone and finished it off. Each one, again, this is one of my favourites. I wear this one quite a lot. Again, I've just wrapped completely randomly around the stone, and I think they look amazing. And I think that it's a really fun way to learn because you're not focusing on this really difficult process of you have to do it this specific way. This is much more free, much more easy. So to begin with, what you're going to need is, I'm going to make this one in silver. So I'm going to use this lovely turquoise stone, and I'm going to make this one in silver wire. So what we're going to start with is silver plated copper wire. Now I will warn you, you can buy sterling silver wire, but I would only ever do that if the customer requests it. Some people can get a reaction to this wire, but it's very rare. I've got sensitive skin and I don't react to it. If people specifically ask for sterling silver, then yes, buy it, but it is hugely expensive. So please don't make the mistake of buying sterling silver. This is copper wire that has been coated. So it says here silver plated copper wire. I'm starting with a 20 gauge for the base, and then I'm going to use a 26 gauge wire. Okay, so we're going to begin wrapping. For a stone this size, I'd estimate that you need probably 30 to 40 centimetres of the 20 gauge wire. So I don't always measure, but for you, I will. So I'm going to say, let's say 40 centimetre piece. That's approximate. It doesn't matter with this because it's so simple. It's just you need a long piece to wrap around. So we're going to do another piece to match. Put it off there. I think I'm going to sneeze. Nope, we're okay. So that is the 2 pieces that we need of our. Oh, this is all come unravelled. You need to try and make sure it stays on the reel because it can get a little bit twisted, and if it does, it could snap off. And when you're making a continuous piece like this, you really don't want it snapping. So this is my 26 gauge wire, and I'm just going to use it off the reel. I'm going to start off by doing a really simple wrap that is 2 pieces of wire going round, 2 wraps around the 2 pieces, the 2 lengths, and then 3 around the bottom piece. Now you can change this up to any combination you like really, as long as they're not even. It doesn't look quite as nice when it's even. So you could do 3 around the bottom and 1 around both. You could do 5 around the bottom and 3 around both, and just change it up any way you like really, and just do a different design, and it just changes the pattern. But for now I'm going to go twice around the top like this, and then we're going to do, I can leave this edge here and cut it off later. So I'm going to start with a 2, and then I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3, and then we go back to doing 2 again. So 1 and 2. Now you can see this is quite a long piece of wire, so what I'm going to do is possibly 2 or 3 different wire wrapping techniques here. What I'm doing now is I'm just squashing them together so that they're nice and neat, and then I use these flat edge pliers just to squash them down and make them look nice and flat. So that's the very beginning of our weave, and I'm just going to keep doing that now, probably for a good 10 centimetres, and then I might change to something different. So I'll just keep going with this and let you see. Definitely fast forward the video through some of these bits. So at the end of this we can put a little timestamp on there to show you how long it actually took, but we'll probably be fast forwarding parts of it because you don't want to sit and watch me continuously do the same thing. I'm showing you how to do it just like this. You can see the pattern emerging. And just occasionally I'll go back along and use my flat edged pliers just to squeeze it down and neaten it up. So I'm just using my fingers now just to kind of push it all down and make sure it's nice and straight. We'll get the flat edge pliers to do this again. There we go. Now we're getting in a bit of a knot here, which is very annoying. We don't want kinks and knots because then it takes even longer to do. Luckily, it's fairly easy to unravel. I'm just going to roll this back up again. Because we don't want to get entangled is not a good plan. Right. And we'll continue this. Forgotten how many I've done now. Yep, that's 3. You see, when you're wire wrapping, it is quite time consuming. It does take longer than people think because you are creating something from scratch and all by hand. So you've just got to be patient. And you will get neater at it as you go along. I certainly did. Just through practice. Had to take one of my rings off, it decided to get tangled. Don't need sound on this bit. I'm just going to measure what I've already done against this stone, because I want kind of the pattern to run all the way across a certain part. So as you can see, it runs kind of, if I decided to wrap it round that way, it almost runs from one end of the stone to the other. So I'm just going to keep going a little bit longer, and then I'm going to change the pattern and I will show you a different kind of weave. As I said before, the beauty of this one is it is completely random, so you can do whatever you like. Nearly did it wrong. I have a little knot in my wire. See, I'm very real, I can just show you exactly how it is. We get knots, we get tangled, and it gets annoying. Right, let's carry on for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to show you something different. Taking it along the wrong one there. So as I'm going along, I'm just making sure it stays nice and straight, so it doesn't have any kinks in it. It's already looking really pretty. I really like antique bronze, as you can see from what I'm wearing, but I do also like silver, and I think silver has a real sparkle to it, so it'll look really pretty around this turquoise stone. Trying to speed up a little bit now. There are going to be times when the wire does actually break, because it does get into little bits of knots and tangles, and that can be really annoying, but you can hide it, so I wouldn't worry too much. Mine hasn't yet, fingers crossed, touch wood, but it may. With these irregular stones, one thing I really like is that you can actually make it so that it's almost double-sided. You can wear it either way. So that's probably what's going to end up happening with this one. Because whatever patterns we choose and whatever way we decide to wrap this, you could probably spin it around and wear it either direction. So carry on with this a little bit further, and then I'm going to show you a different type of weave that we can use. My wire just broke. What was I just saying? This is what happens. The wire has broken. So if this happens to you, all we need to do is we need to tuck the end away that just broke. And then we're going to take the wire, we're going to tuck it right in here, in between the two wires, if you can see. And we're just going to carry on. So there's a little bit of wire there sticking out. I'm just going to tuck it away. And you can see there, that's not bad. That has made it disappear, and we can just continue as we were for a little while. Just making sure that that's tucked away. Okay, so now that I've fixed my wire, and I can tell you it's barely noticeable, which is great. I'm going to switch to a different weave. So that's what we've got so far. I'm just going to squish it down a little bit. I can barely even see where that wire broke, which is fantastic. Right, so now I'm going to do a different type of weave, and this one I'm going to do 4 on 1, I can't even think of the word now. I'm going to do 4 wraps on one wire and 4 wraps on the other, and I'm just going to create this almost like a hinge kind of effect. I'll show you how that one looks. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to flip over onto the other wire and do 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then I'm going to use my fingers just to push them down a bit, make sure that they all look nice. I'm going to do a few more of those, and then I'll show you what it looks like, because it's difficult when you first begin to kind of see the pattern emerge. So, and pull it down with my fingers. You want them nice and tight and close together. So, and make sure that keep using your fingernails that I barely have any of, but there we go. So you can see we've gone from the 2-3 pattern there to the 4-4 there. And I'm just going to continue doing this for a little while.
Just give me a little bit further forward. That's it.
There.
Yeah.
You can speed this up as well.
Mm.
They don't need to see everything. I've got pain in my chest. I think we can actually cut and just show it at the end, can't we? You don't need to keep showing them this.
No, but keep going anyway, just go fast forward.
Okay. Right. To make sure I was doing 4 then. You'd be surprised at how noticeable it is if you accidentally do 5 twists. Even though it's so tiny, if you're looking at it, it's really, really tiny. But if you do actually make a mistake and you do something random, like add an extra twist, it is actually noticeable. Although in something like this, because it's so random, I don't think it matters too much. There are some more complicated weaves that I can teach you at a later date. There will be tutorials coming to show you some different weaves, but these ones are just kind of the simple ones for beginners, for doing something pretty but easy. Just going to use my fingernails to push this down, because you want it all really nice and linked and close together, and some of them just looked a bit. I need to bring it closer to my face because I can't see. There we go. That's better. And carry on. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm actually thinking about how I'm going to finish it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more type of weave, probably up to about here, and then I'm going to leave these as I wrap to then create the loop for hanging, and then show you how to finish it off towards the end. So this is what goes through my head as I'm wrapping things. Because this one does not have a plan. We can do it however we like. Oh, the wire's starting to go everywhere again. Hang on a second. Put this back up, otherwise we might get another breakage, which we do not want. Will you stop doing that? I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't keep falling off the reel, because that's how you get kinks in it and that's how it breaks. So it can be really annoying. Right, and continue. Whilst I'm doing this, can you just look up what the loop is called, this bit? You know, the loop at the top, I don't know what it's called.
Loop. Just called a loop.
Mm.
Beginners won't know what it's called.
Yeah.
So try and work a bit further forward. That's it.
That's it. Okay, this is coming along nicely. I'm going to do a tiny bit more of this, and then I'm going to change to one more type of weave, and then we're going to see how we finish this off. If you'd like to learn more about the different types of weaves, there will be a tutorial coming up that is called the 5 best weaves for beginners. So that will be just explaining how to do certain things to get you started. So if you want to have a look at that, you should subscribe to my channel, and then you'll be notified when things pop up, and hopefully you'll get to watch that video too. probably gone about far enough with that one. So I'm going to do one more weave for you, just to take us to probably about here. And then we're going to start wrapping it around the stone and then working out how to finish it. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it once over both, once over one, and once over the other. I'll show you this repeatedly so you don't need to worry if you miss what it looks like. And then back over one. Sorry, not over one, over both. So making sure that's nice and tight. I'll do that a couple more times and I'll be able to show you how the pattern actually looks. So once over that one, once over that one, and once over both. And that's what we're going to continue with along here. Once over that one, once over that one, and once over both. Use your fingers again just to push it down whenever I show you that. Nice and close. Really pretty. So we've got some really pretty weaves going on here. It's going to look really nice once it's wrapped around our stone. I need a little bit more wire again, and to stop it from flying off I've decided I should have done this in the first place, to push it through the little hole. So I've got enough to work with and it doesn't all come shooting off the reel. I don't know why I didn't think about that in the first place. Right, so let's carry on with this one. So over that one, and both. And then keep using your fingers just to pull it down and make it nice and tight. And I'll keep going with that one for a little while now. And it's just broken. Can we cut this so that they don't know it's broken?
How much more you got to do?
I don't know, it's a bit boring for you, isn't it?
It's alright.
Just got to make sure this doesn't come off. It's going in. So annoying when it breaks. Really like that one, really nice and close, really pretty. Bring it up even closer. Keep going with that. Yeah, you definitely need to fast forward these bits because it's going to be too long otherwise, isn't it? Can you add photos in the links below?
No.
Like, you know, when someone comments, can they add a picture?
Yes. Or work a bit further, that's it.
Sometimes I just need to bring it up to my face so I can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's looking really neat and really nice. I'm liking it. It's completely random. That's what I like about it. Gonna have a look. This is going to be completely randomly wrapped around here. I'm going to pick a front, but actually when it's finished you could wear it the other way around as well, I reckon. We'll see. A bit more wire again. what I keep doing when I stop is just making sure that it stays straight, because even though we're going to wrap it around here, we don't want lots of kinks and bends in it. So I'm just making sure and checking close up how it looks, and then we can carry on. Be pretty tough on the fingers sometimes, but I think I'm getting used to it now.
You really need to move it further forward.
It's so hard because I can't see what I'm doing. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to have a look at how much we've got. I'm going to use this flat piece probably as the front part of the stone, of the way we want to wear it, and just going to see, because what we want to do, what I'm going to do, which may seem like an unusual thing if you've made things before, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the loop in now. So I'm going to show you the technique I use to create this kind of loop here, because I think that's a really nice finish for the top part. So we're going to make that, create the loop, and then we're going to hold it in place to then wrap everything around it. So that'll be interesting. So right, to make that loop, it is just 2 on one side and 2 on the other, and as you go you want to make sure that you don't pull it tight this time. So we're doing 2 here and 2 here, and as you go along you'll see that that little pattern will develop in the middle of it. So 2 and 2. I'm just going to keep going like this for a little while until we have a big enough loop. This creates a really nice, you want to try and be consistent with the width apart. And just keep pushing it down, make it nice and tight. You see that pattern that's emerging there? It's really pretty. It's a really nice way to finish off. You can actually use any of these weaves, and just like I have done with this one here, I've just continued the pattern and turned that into the loop. But I quite like this one, this kind of design. myself a bit more wire again. Pardon. Right. Continue with this. So the loop doesn't need to be massive. I think that's long enough. If you think about how it's going to be, it's going to have that at the front, and then you need to continue a little bit and then taper back in again, because you're going to bend it in the middle to create the loop, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean, but what I'm doing now is I'm just going to continue with that distance for a little while, and then I'm going to start tapering it back in to make the other side of the loop. Attached to my fingers. I'm going to start bringing it back in. It's a very delicate little loop, really pretty little weave. So you just pull it gently to make it start moving back in again. So as you can see, I've created a pattern there. Just in the centre is where I'm going to twist it over like that to create a loop. This bit I'm going to pull forward, and at this point something I really like to do is, it's really nice actually to have one piece just bare like this and the other piece wrapped, and when you put them next to each other it creates another another pattern basically. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap this around the top like so that we've created our loop like that, and then I'm going to take this wire and I'm just going to wrap it all the way along here, and then that's finished with our wire section, and then we're going to take our stone and work out how we're going to wrap it. I like the randomness of it. So I'm just going to wrap this all the way along to almost the end, but as you twist it, it starts to kind of move off the end, so I'm just going to leave a little bit at the end that isn't wrapped. And with this one, you can be a bit rough and then just push it down with your fingers. Makes it a little bit quicker. Give myself a bit more wire again. So I'm just going to go like this. Wrap, wrap, wrap. Nice and quick. Push it down with my fingers. Just keep going with that one. Push it down. And I'll just keep going with that until I'm almost at the end, and I'll come back to you.
run out of battery.
Neat done. You don't need to show all of this, but you don't want to stop recording there. It takes a long time. But you didn't know it took that long, did you?
When I come to the forward there, I can do it. We just cut that.
Okay. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's broken. Just got to fix it and then we can cut back. This might take a little more editing.
I didn't realise it's going to be an hour. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes.
No, these are really long. All of them are, when I'm actually making stuff, it's going to be long. That's why I charge so much.
Further forward. Yeah. So further forward. That's it.
Getting rid of myself. I'm so glad you can take the sound off.
Yeah, further forward.
It's not easy because I'm so leaned over. I'm just taking my flat-ended pliers just to squash it down, like any bits that look like they're popping out a little bit. We are nearly there. Kinking that. Right, I'm going to stop there because I need that little end just to finish off and tie anything off, so I'm going to put that there. And now we're going to randomly wrap. So I want that bit to be my top edge, and I'm just going to hold it. Yeah, I'm just going to hold that where I want the top piece to be, and I'm just going to wrap this around. Literally all I am going to do. You see how I've just wrapped it around the stone, and I'm going to take this top bit and I'm going to wrap it all the way around that top edge there. Pliers. I'm going to tuck those right in so that those are kind of more hidden away. I've just noticed a little bit of wire I don't want seen there. So it's starting to take shape. At the moment it's a little bit wobbly, but we have all these other wires here that we're going to use. to help us secure it down. This piece is going to come all the way. This is going to come here. We're nearly done. So you see how randomly we wrapped that, but I think really effective. I really like it. So just to finish off, this is quite fiddly because I want that to go underneath there, and then can I get that in? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my pliers and pull that quite tight. It pulled it tightly. This is just finishing off. Where's the other wire gone? It's hiding. Right, there it is. There's the other wire. I'm just going to pull that through nice and tight and wrap it around the top. Like so. And then you can have a little fiddle around. Make sure each piece is where you want it to be. Got some extras there. Again, we're just going to pull it nice and tight around the top there. Just pull it round and tuck it away. I need to get rid of that bit. This is the great thing about this, is you can just tuck things out of the way and make it look neat. I'm just going to sit back a minute, finish this off, and then I can show you. Push that a bit tighter. All I'm doing now is just squeezing it around the stone a bit so that it fits to its shape and it's nice and tight.
Do that here and say it again.
Woo! And I just dropped it. And there we go. So all the way around, you can see you can actually wear it in pretty much any direction that you want. I like that way. So I'm going to twist that, and there you have it. Very randomly wrapped turquoise pendant. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to be wearing that probably in the next video. And subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. If you want to watch more tutorials, there'll be more coming. And let me know what you think in the comments below. As I've said before, I would really love to see your pictures. I want to see your work. I want to see how you do it. But these are really pretty, really simple, little, well, not little, actually, big gemstone pendants using random roughly cut stone, tumblestones, basically. And I hope that you enjoy making them. Thanks for watching.